Hi, sixth graders. Today we're going to continue working with dividing fractions. I wanted to start with kind of going over an explanation of how your we do problem with the granola bar, an explanation of how that works with a picture and being able to do an equation. So the problem asked you to figure out how many 1/6 pieces were left in 2/3 of a granola bar. So they gave you a model that had 2/3 of a granola bar broken up into sixths. So what we were really doing was taking 2/3 divided by 1/6. In a picture, what that would look like is I'm going to split my tape diagram up into thirds and then shade 2 of those thirds. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to think, okay, if I'm using the whole tape diagram, what would it look like if instead of splitting it up into thirds, I had the tape diagram split up into sixths? So I'm going to go ahead and split up each of those boxes in half. And the question was asking how many 1/6 parts are left in my granola bar. So I've got all of these 1/6 parts, but the parts that are shaded, those are the parts of my granola bar that are left. So how many 1/6 parts do I have? If I look at the parts that are shaded, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have 4 parts left. So that tells me that 2/3 divided by 1/6 equals 4. Let's do the math and make sure that that works. So you'll remember yesterday that Miss Allender told you about keep, change, flip, where you keep the first fraction the same, 2/3. You change the division symbol to a multiplication problem, and you flip the second fraction over. So instead of writing 1/6, I'm going to write times 6 over 1. And then I'm going to multiply like we learned to do last week when we were multiplying fractions. So we just multiply straight across. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3. And then we solve that problem. Remember, this is a division problem. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Let's do another one to make sure that that still works. This problem that I'm going to do is 6/8 divided by 1/4. We're going to draw a picture again and show why the keep, change, flip works. So I'm going to draw a tape diagram. And I'm going to start by showing 6/8. So I need to split my box up into 8 pieces. So I'm going to split it in half, split each of those in half to make fourths, and then split each of those in half to make eighths. And I'm going to shade 6 of them. So I'm going to shade all but 2 of them. And then what I'm doing is I'm wanting to know how many fourths from my whole do I have in this box. So when we look at this, I could really split my box up into 4 equal parts like this. How many of my fourths are shaded? I've got 1/4 here. Here's 1. I've got another 4th, and I've got another 4th. So how many fourths do I have shaded? 3. So that's telling me that 6/8 divided by 1/4 should equal 3. Let's do the keep, change, flip to see if that works. So I'm going to rewrite this problem to be 6/8 times, instead of 1/4, I'm going to flip it to be 4 over 1. Then I'm going to multiply. 6 times 4 is 24. 8 times 1 is 8. Remember that this is a division problem, so 24 divided by 8 equals 3, and we still get the same answer. Let's do one more without drawing a picture just to prove that the keep, change, flip works every time. Okay, so let's do 3/4 divided by 2/5. To do keep, change, flip, we need to change this to be 3/4 times, and then we're going to flip our fraction, 5/2. And now we need to multiply straight across. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 2 is 8. This is an improper fraction, so I need to ask myself, how many times does 8 go into 15? And that is once. And then what do I have left over? Well, I know 8 times 2 is 16, so I got close but not quite. So 8 only goes in there once, which means that I have 7 left over and 7/8 left over. So 15/8 is the same thing as 1 7/8. And that's how you would solve it without drawing a picture. You just change the division sign to multiplication and you flip your second fraction over and then just multiply straight across using the rules that we learned last week.